prepared yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as...
Look at the shields on the mark.
Oh my god, the ball is gonna take him.
That's right. It is IPL 2. I'm DJ Wheat from OneMoreGame.tv, and we have another season of amazing StarCraft action coming at you. Brought to you, of course, by IGN. Make sure to check out the website, IGN.com/IPL. Our matchup this evening for the winners round 1 is going to be between Millennium Tarson, our Terran player, versus 6 Jacks ViBE, our Zerg player. ViBE from 6 Jacks going to be spawning in the north position as our red Zerg. And his opponent, Terran from Millennium Tarson, our blue Terran, will be spawning in the east position. These will be close by air, and you can already see this Overlord going to be making his way over, and will spot his opponent right away. And sometimes you see an SCV come out. There's the spot. He's going to go ahead and try to keep himself out of vision for as long as he can, because he doesn't want Tarson to know where he is spawned. The longer he can keep that a mystery, the better off he'll be. And we'll just check the vision there as you can see him moving over. Now, what I was mentioning earlier is a lot of players, assuming that we could be close by air, will actually take an SCV and send him over to this area. So when the Overlord actually pops over, if he sees them, he immediately knows, okay, my opponent is cross position. Now, in this particular instance, I do not believe that Tarson has seen this Overlord yet. So I'll be curious. And when he goes out and scout, and there he's going to go ahead and give himself away as he moves closer. And now Tarson will know exactly where he is, because there's no way that an Overlord can get to that position from any other position other than close positions. And that's a lot of different positions. So the Overlord will move his way out. Of course, he'll want to try to get out of there before that first Marine is out. SCV, knowing where his opponent is, immediately going to go ahead and just scout over to his opponent's base, where, of course, ViBE is residing, and he has thrown down his hatchery here at the natural. The spawning pool is about a quarter of the way complete. And, based off of some of the last play that we've seen out of a lot of the Zerg, and just like how many of them are playing at this time, we're seeing a lot of late gas or low gas type expansions where players are just droning up, really powering, trying to get a massive economy. And then, of course, that's when once they feel like they've reached that economy, they'll go ahead and start powering units and begin to take those out. So we have one refinery up for our Terran player right now. He's going to be throwing down a factory right away. It looks like add-on, yep, there was space for an add-on here, and it's going to go reactor. So what's going to happen is Tarson is going to be lifting the barracks, switching it out with the factory, and likely producing some Hellions here, which, of course, will be something that ViBE will have to respond to. A lot of players... Oh, there's the Spine Crawler right there, and it is a very, very good defensive tactic to have, whether you know that those units are coming or not. Having a Spine Crawler at your natural helps anything that might try to sneak into the main, or anything that might come around. And we're even going to have a second Spine Crawler, which I absolutely love. This could completely negate any sort of damage done by these Hellions. There we have the switch. The first 2 Hellions are going to make their way out. Now, another thing to keep in mind here as we have the command center going down is these are not going to be blue flame Hellions, simply because we have the reactor on there. You need the tech lab, obviously. So he's just going to try to maybe get 4 Hellions out here and do some harass. Now, based off of what we got, I like the fact that the Queen is here on the ramp. If the Hellions try to do some harassment here at the natural, then, the Spine Crawler should be able to take care of them. Their other option would then be, of course, to make it into the main, where there's not a whole lot of defense. There are 2 queens in there that the third queen made so that they can drop some creep tumors and start to get that creep spread, making them a little bit more mobile. We have some more Lings just kind of doing some harassment. These Marines are going to be able to take care of that, no problem. And Stim already being researched, despite the fact that Tarson is just off of the 1 racks right now. So we'll likely be seeing more racks going down, as there we have another one. Now, the Hellions are out. We've got a third one on the way. And was there a 4th? Well, I guess not. He just wanted to get that up and going. So how effective are these 3 Hellions going to be? My guess, not very. first Spinecrawler hit does connect there with Hellion number 1. And you can already see what kind of damage it did. It's going to move around the side. He may just decide, you know what? It's not even worth it to lose those units. So I'm not going to do anything with them, as we have another Rax going down. Of course, Stim is underway. This Rax will have a reactor on it already. And we also have a starport being put down for Tarson as he flies over his orbital command. Hellions not giving up on their harass quite yet. Going to stop this drone from putting down a hatchery. And yes, he does. And that will actually be a nice little victory for Tarson, as he is going to deny that third. However, the Queens may react here, move forward. The creep is starting to spread. The Hellions, however, can put themselves right here on this ramp or right on top of where that hatchery location would be. And anytime you can delay a hatchery against the Zerg player, you are going to be in a phenomenal position, because they, of course, want to get that third base up and running. They want to try to stay ahead of you in terms of the economy right now. And can see that the Tarson expansion looking pretty good right now as more Marines get out. Stim should be completing any moment. Speed and a Baneling Nest going down right here. More harassment coming out as a creep tumor will be taken out as well. Another big annoyance from Tarson to the Zerg. They're going to go ahead and scan up, take out a few more creep tumors, and that really will limit the spread of that creep early on. Queen positions herself so she can get a few free hits there, and we will see the third going down right now for ViBE, as we will have these Hellions moving in, and 16 Lings are on the way, so those Lings will need to get rid of the Hellions. The Hellion's not going to try to take out this hatchery. Okay, I take it back. One Hellion is going to try to be the brave one and take out that hatchery, but in come the Lings. The Hellion's going to immediately try to get out of there. We have more Lings on the way, and the Hellions will scatter quite quickly. Now, let's see what the Terran is doing right now. He's got the tech lab down, has not yet started his siege research, but does have at least one tank out right now. Surprised we're not seeing a bunker or anything of the sort right here. These Hellions still out of... Oh, here comes a drop. And is this going to be identified here? There are the Hellions. Out come the Lings. Lings are going to try to get them off, and they're going to see the Marines, and no, this is not going to be good. However, some Banelings coming in from the side. They're going to get a surround here on these Marines. The Banelings come in, and the perfect pickup by the medevac. All those units are completely annihilated, and Tarson is left over with almost everything. He took a little bit of damage there. And if he takes out this third, this actually will be a great victory for Tarson. In comes some more Lings, but there'll be no match for a few of these Marines with a medevac as well. Some more Banelings coming in. He's going to try to bait them out. Oh, will he get hits? He's going to go after the Marines, and he does manage to hit a lot of the Marines. The hatchery does go down, but the medevac still proving to be useful. Picks up a few of those remaining Hellions and takes off with them. Meanwhile, Viking out here for Tarson. That, of course, will make it harder for the Overlords to get some vision across the map. But the bigger part of that battle was the fact that the third was lost for ViBE. It was delayed the first time. The second time that it was killed. And now that third will be denied. And since he has decided to go mutas here, he's got to be very careful, because you can only sustain so many muta numbers off of 2 base before you can find yourself really hurting for the things that he'll need for the ground army, which of course are the Lings and the Banelings. So the mutas right now, they're looking for a window. They're trying to get in, do some harassment. We see missile turrets now going up here for Tarson. There's not a whole lot of them. We have one on the lower side, one on the upper side. That's actually a great little position, because if the mutas try to sneak back here, these missile turrets will be able to do a lot of free damage. And here are those mutas. What are they going to be able to do? Can they pick off a few of those Hellions? That do pick off one Hellion. Now going in here and doing some damage to the production would be big, but Tarson is quite prepared for this, having a separate squad of Marines right over here. We're going to see a fourth go down by ViBE, and this is absolutely a response to having his third delayed so much. By the time the third gets up, it's already going to be time for that fourth to go down. You can see that ViBE is floating around 1,200 minerals right now, so he can certainly afford to do that, and he's going to need it absolutely. So, you know, he's going to get that up right now, and it will get up right around the same time as this expansion right here. Drone's already going over there. You can see that he occupies his gas almost immediately because he wants to be able to continue to upgrade his units, continue to tech while getting out those mutas. Of course, they are very expensive, coming in at 100, 100, so a big mineral and gas investment both ways. And we could have a move out here. And the question is, oh my gosh, Baneling speed not even close to being done, and there are not any Banelings even out on the field right now. He's going to morph in a lot of them. That means no new mutas coming. Now the mutas could move in to try to force the Terran to move back, but it is not going to happen. In comes a little group of Marines, and this is going to be a real nasty force for ViBE to have to deal with. He's his mutas to the back. Can he pick off a couple of these tanks? He's going to move in. He does manage to at least get about half damage done here. He's going to scan, get some more creep tumors. And the Baneling speed is what his opponent's really waiting for. He takes out one tank, two tanks. The Marines do move in. There's not a whole lot of units to deal with those quite yet. He's moved everything over to the back and to his third right now as he continues to just mass units. He's got to be careful with these mutas. We see a lot of lings falling down as they try to get out of that ramp, and these two tanks are critical for Tarson right now as a lot of these mutas starting to fall. The Baneling speed is so close to being done, and once that's done, he's going to be able to maximize his damage, and here he goes, rolling in with the first set of units, but where are the rest of them? He's just going to take out those forward Marines, not really dealing with the whole army, but this actually might be a bait here for ViBE as Millennium does move forward, and here comes the big hits. We do have the Zerglings moving in. The Banelings will hit all those Marines, but what about the mutas? They're going to be dropped inside the main. A lot of Marines up there, but they'll be protected by these siege tanks. If he takes out the Marines, the siege tanks will be completely naked. He'll be able to take those out no problem, and that is exactly what has happened there as the siege tank quickly and frantically try to unsiege, and 1, 2, 3, even this fourth one may go down. Will he go ahead and decide to chase it? Right now, ViBE with the commanding lead. Only a few units coming up here to try to help out, and there we'll see another tank go down. Only one medevac out. A muta does fall, but it will not even matter. The fourth base is starting to go up here for ViBE. No drones there, but you can see that it's already well defended. Now this naked third from Tarson that is also not a planetary fortress. It is an orbital command. Could prove to be really nasty for Tarson. Typically, if you want to have that extra defense, you're going to want to put a planetary fortress right here. So the muta's now moving in, and they're going to start to work on the production facilities. There are a few missile turrets scattered all around, but there are just so many mutas right here. In fact, he may be able to take out this low count of Marines. There's not a medevac helping out with the healing, and he's not overcommitting to these battles, which I really like out of ViBE. Now, as far as Tarson's concerned, he lost a lot of units in that last matchup. He's back up to about 5 tanks right now, and what he really needs to be watching out for is, of course, is the Ling Baneling combination coming out from ViBE. You could see that he is at +1 attack. We've got +2 air attack going down right now, and really not a whole lot of teching. Only unit production coming out from Tarson. Did see that the armory was being completed right now. Not really sure where that is, but it is going up right now. And here we have the mutas flying over to this third. There is not a whole lot of coverage right here. Actually, he's put down 2 more missile turrets. So how much will he commit to here? He's going to go ahead. Oh my gosh, he doesn't take out that first one. There he goes, and the Marines do come in, and more mutas lost than needed to be right there. Tarson right now, I feel like, is in a corner a little bit. If he had a few more medevacs, I think some drop play would really be advantageous for Tarson right now, which we have a bunch of lings streaming in here. He knows that that's not a planetary, so he might be able to do some damage. However, the Terran is already set up. The question is what about the front? There's only a couple of Marines right here, and he may choose to move on in and then counterattack with these lings, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing here. He's making a lot of Banelings. However, there are some siege tanks up there. He's going to go ahead and get us around on these siege tanks, take those out. A lot of Marines will come in, but what about the Banelings? SCV's going down like crazy. He lifts the orbital command. Will he decide to go in and attack? And he does, but he loses every single Baneling. Meanwhile, The mutas continue to do damage here at the main, and this is where it could get really nasty for Tarson. If he cripples the production of Tarson, the Terran, quite frankly, cannot produce the way they need to anymore to keep up with the Zerg, especially one on 5 base and also one that just took his gold. More Marines streaming in, but 2 barracks has gone out, a 3rd barracks is going to fall, and a lot of add-ons were killed as well. Now, we do have all these additional barracks that have been made down here with reactors, so he's not completely lost as he's going to be repairing those up. Oh, he does manage to hold on. No, that barracks is about ready to fall. There he goes. He gets the repair on it, and he does manage to save that. However, you've got to ask yourself, actually, how behind is Tarson right now? We've got a lot of mutas right here, a huge muta count, 2 pages here for ViBE. They are at +2. They're going to be able to handle Marines no problem as long as there's not a super saturation of medevacs. And the fact that the Terran is only on 3 bases is pretty scary. They're going to see a stim coming out to try to catch those mutas. Another tank falls. More Marines coming into the fray. And those Marines, of course, going to be huge baneling bait right here as we now have the gold going up for ViBE. He's transferring some workers over there right now. Another set of Lings ready to come in here and do some damage. A lot of SCVs have been allocated here because, as you can see, the main almost mined out, the natural almost mined out, and that is why it is critical that Tarson gets a 4th base up. The Lings are going to move on over. See, there's no base here, no base on the south expansion as well, the south main base, and he's going back in. Oh my gosh, he can actually take minimal damage from only 1 missile turret. He's going to easily take out this orbital. It is going to go down. Another orbital is going, or another command center is going to probably put itself down, and my guess is, oh, and here we go, Fungal's coming out. The Banelings, there are no Banelings. Where are the Banelings? Those were phenomenal Fungals, but there were no Banelings to follow up with that. However, the mutas will come in, take out 1, 2, 3 tanks. We'll suffer some losses, but the fact that so many tanks die will continue to put ViBE into a nice lead here. Actually, wow. ViBE lost way more mutas than I thought he did, and he did not kill enough Marines in that exchange. He does have a Nidus Worm up right now, but where is he going to decide to put that? If tanks get up here on the high ground, this gold is going to be completely rendered useless, and he will have to use mutas to take out those tanks. And there we go. Drone's going to start falling really quickly. He's going to have to move those off to his 4th base. Now, because the muta count is so low, oh, we got a Nidus Worm in the back right here, and it is not being seen by Tarson. We're going to have a backdoor attack from ViBE. Oh my god, he's going to throw down a second one now as Zerglings just start streaming into his opponent's base. There's absolutely nothing here to be able to defend against it. Here we have 1 siege tank moving on over, and will there be an... Oh my gosh, a lot of Banelings coming in, but is he not having the Banelings to be able to deal with what he needs to deal with over here, which is a lot of Marines and several tanks? You can see the swarm is starting to move in against Tarson, and it might be a race right here, but the question is Tarson is not moving back, so does ViBE have enough? He's going to actually be bringing a lot of Banelings back from that assault. He has a couple of infestors out here. Oh, the Banelings rolling into their death. And this could be very, very bad for ViBE. There we are going to see a Fungal go down as 2 Marines are left over. More Zerglings continue to do damage, but they will be taken out. And I think that ViBE might have overcommitted in those battles. The few mutas that are left are trying to take out these Marines, but of course they also have the siege support in the back. And if ViBE still had the muta numbers that he had before, this would not be an issue. If ViBE would have had Banelings when that Fungal went down at the gold, this would not be an issue, but Tarson taking huge advantage of this. The Broodlords are out right now, and that will help out big time. There, the Banelings come in. A lot of Marines are going to get absolutely melted and annihilated here. And there is the GG as ViBE, who was almost hanging on by a thread there, gets his Broodlords out. He did do the forward Nidus attack, which I felt like it did some damage, but Tarson did deal with it quite nicely. And game 1 will go to 6jax ViBE. We'll be coming at you with game number 2 in just a moment. I'm DJ Wheat, and this is the IPL Season 2.